Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week of Dishin Days. It is April 10th, 2022. I am your host, Araceli Aviles, and to my this direction, we have...
Michael Mattis, how are you?
And below me, we have...
Below me. Hello, Justin.
Hey guys, Justin Hareld here.
Yeah. Took a second.
Is there a delay?
There's a delay there.
Yeah, did you hear me? Sorry. No, my thing stopped. Hey guys, Justin Hareld here. How are you? Oh God, here we go.
Love it.
And for those of you tuning in, we have two announcements. One, obviously, Tony Moore is not here. I know I said he would be. But it's gonna take a little bit longer. So just hang tight, everybody.
He's good. He's just busy.
He's just busy. Things got unexpectedly busy.
lot of what do they say? It's not cooks in the kitchen, but a lot of pans in the fire, irons in the fire, something like that.
Yeah. Which is a good thing, but it's just gonna take a little bit longer for him to get back with us. He will be soon. Soon. I won't say when. We have a general idea, but soon. The other thing is
we'll all be reunited in May.
Yes. Hopefully. Hopefully. But he is keeping up, and he is keeping an eye on everything that's going on. So stay tuned. The other thing is that we are actually on a pre-recorded session today. I apologize to our live viewers, but as it is, life happens. The good news is good opportunities are coming to us, hopefully. So we kind of had to do a little bit of rearranging. So today we are pre-recorded, so we won't be reading live comments, but we do sometimes go back and watch and read your comments. So please feel free to interact with each other in the chat room.
Chat amongst yourselves. Yeah.
Yes, chat amongst yourselves. Yeah, we'll still keep in touch with you guys, not to worry. And we will be back live. Oh, I guess I should announce at the top, but the show as well.
Third announcement.
Third announcement. I'll remind you guys at the end again. Due to next Sunday being Easter Sunday, we actually will be off next week. So there will be no episode of Dishin Days next Sunday, but we will be back the following week because I don't think that eggs in my hair is a look that you guys want to see.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, just like this gets everywhere. Yeah, on Easter Sunday. So it's not a look you want to see. So therefore, we'll be off next Sunday. I'll do a reminder again at the end of the show. And I think that's the end of our pre-announcements. Our regular announcements, follow us on Dishin Days on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, at _Dishin Days on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're already here, most of you. Please subscribe, like us, follow us, as well as follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio if you can't follow us at our regularly programmed time, and buy our merch at dishindays.threadless.com. All right. Those are all the announcements I got.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do feel kind of lonely without our chat room, to tell you the truth.
I know. I keep looking over. I'm getting used to making sure I know. I know. What?
Yeah. See, we appreciate you guys because we know we feel kind of like, oh, where'd they go?
Yeah. Our other co-hosts.
Yeah. Where's everybody today?
And Justin and his giant ass glass. I don't know why. It just looks.
It's not that big.
Time.
It just looks like that. Just looks like that on
it throws me every time.
I know.
All right. Okay, but we still got a job to do, so let's get into it. It's time to start.
Dishin Days.
Michael was late on that one.
Okay, so for me, we were perfectly in sync.
Oh, it must be it's so funny. Yeah,
I know.
Man,
this is how you can tell it's hot in LA because my Wi-Fi is not working as good.
Hot?
Because it's hot.
That's how you can always tell. Yeah, whenever it's really warm in LA, I don't know, it affects my Wi-Fi for some reason.
Oh, that's weird. That's like when it rains here.
Warm.
When it rains here, shit just goes down for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's not raining, it's just hot.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was this week, wasn't it? Yeah. When was the Michael Mattis? When was did it rain last week or this week?
Last week, I think.
Last week. Yeah. Okay. So one of the I remember thinking last week, remember how angry I was at last week's episode?
Yes.
Well, one of the reasons I was angry was because we started off Monday and I was already upset. And then there was like this news story in the afternoon of a dog that got stuck in the LA River.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you know LA, that's not a real river.
Yeah.
But when it
It's like a
rains,
creek.
no one in LA knows how to navigate rain.
Yeah.
So
everyone gets scared of it. They're going to melt from it. Yeah.
Yes. So that was just like the start of my terrible, no good, very bad week.
This week was better, though.
Yeah. I think this week was a lot better. I was a lot less stressed out.
Yeah.
In life and in days.
In life and in days.
Yes.
Well, speaking of days.
Yes. So let's start with Let's start with this storyline. This is going to be pretty big, and I'm actually not too upset at it. Shawn, Belle, Jan, and EJ. Okay, so we kind of predicted or thought that this might happen, and sure enough, here we go. Jan Spears is in fact pregnant with Shawn's baby.
Yeah. Now, there was a moment where Jan was by herself after the test where she said, okay, I've convinced, how did she put it? I've convinced Shawn that he's your daddy, or I've convinced your daddy that
now that your dad is convinced that you're his.
I just felt that an interesting choice of convinced. An interesting choice of phrasing. So did she mess with the test like so many others before her?
I don't think so. I don't think she would have had the time to fix it.
She's Jan. She's
Jan, but she's so overconfident.
Mm-hmm. That's Jan.
That's thing. That's Jan. That I get it. That is Jan, but she just is like giddy.
There's just a twinge of doubt that it's not that it. There's a twinge of doubt that this baby is actually Shawn's.
Well, you hold on to that doubt.
I will hold on to that doubt. Okay. And but yeah, I felt that interesting. But then, going back to the start of the whole thing, I guess it was like I'm not fully on Belle's side here.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
I'm like, okay, you kind of, I can understand how she feels, but I don't agree with it, I guess is the way I'm saying, because the situation is not like it wasn't like he was cheating. It's not like he found out it was Jan and then banged her anyway. You know what I mean? Like he legit thought it was Belle from the moment Belle came in. Now, I just assumed that there's this whole like, oh, but I didn't think you went through with it, or I didn't think you didn't finish or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I would just like assume.
That was a surprise to me. It seems like I don't know if it's technically a retcon, because I don't remember the conversation when she walked in, and I don't remember what Shawn said. So I don't know if it was established that she knew that they. Yeah. So I don't remember
it being established that they were just basically in bed naked and didn't actuI have sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that seems to be Belle's issue. It's like, you lied to me. And I'm like, how did he lie to you?
Well, I think if it wasn't outwardly said, then it would have been a lie of omission that for her, she assumed, and then he just let it go. He just let her assume that.
But they also said this week, they sort of said that, like, we've talked about this issue over the last few months, kind of a thing. So I think that's where more of her issue is coming from. Maybe not like the day of, but supposedly she's saying that they've had several conversations about that episode, which would make sense because they sort of got over it pretty quickly in that moment. So I think, it would make sense that a married couple would talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what she's alluding to.
I don't
know,
think it was a knee-jerk reaction. I think a lot is being made of Belle like being angry with Shawn. I don't think that she's really angry with Shawn. I think she's mad at the situation and and Shawn is right in front of her.
Yeah.
and she can't be mad at an unborn baby, and she has already established she hates Jan with everything in her. So she's just trying to, I think she's just trying to manage her emotions, and her emotions are all over the place.
Yeah.
And she's taking it out on Shawn, but I really don't feel that she's really angry with him. I think she's just taking it out on him because she doesn't know, she doesn't see a way out of this.
I mean, that would be the only explanation I could accept for her reactions, because you know, she's basically not playing the victim but acting like she's the only victim here, and Shawn's the one that was taken advantage of by and yeah, I can see your point where she's like, she needs a point of venting, and you know, the devil did it. How are you going to vent to the devil? You know, it's not you know, it's yeah, so I can understand that if she's acting this way because she just needs an outlet, and this is it.
Also, remember, she's coming off of this idea that she was possessed for a while and she has no memories of it. So she's also sort of dealing with that of like losing. We know she didn't, but essentially to her, she thinks she's lost part of her life, and she's done these things to her friends and family. So she's probably reeling from that too. And she's also we saw her scatterbrain sort of this week and dealing with EJ and stuff like that. So I feel like it's all coming down on her. But I do want to talk about the Jan actual pregnancy thing, because I do think Jan is pregnant by Shawn. I think they can go a few interesting ways. They can do the whole like it's actually his baby, which they're saying it is. Supposedly, there's proof now. They could do the fact that she's still in jail, so she's not going to raise the baby. So is it now not Jan, but now Shawn and Belle raise? Is that the storyline? Belle has to now raise a baby that's not biologically not hers in front of, you know, partly her enemy.
Yeah.
Is it? Are we going to have the typical soap thing? She loses the baby, and then that causes problems for Belle and Shawn. Yeah. Or someone made a theory, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if they would go there, but they did someone made a theory. I forget who, I can't credit them, but they said, what if they went the supernatural way, in the sense that Jan was Belle technically when she got pregnant. So is the baby biologically Belle and Shawn's? Like, is that? Like, I know it seems silly, but also this is a show where people are possessed by the devil. So
but that last one is like, I think such a stretch. I think it's more plausible that it's Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah. That's where they would lose me if they somehow
made it.
Yeah. But like you said, Justin, those are all valid points, all valid options, and in every single one of those scenarios, Belle loses out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not. It's no one's fault but the devil's and Jan's.
Because Jan's technically in jail for I'm guessing life, or
you can't have a baby in jail.
Life. No, but I mean, in terms of like, she's not getting out anytime soon, unless we get like a twist of fate or something. Because she's in jail for killing Charlie, so she's there for the foreseeable future. So, I mean, I guess they can plausibly have that storyline of Belle and Shawn now having a baby, but it's now
the Belle and Shawn raising the baby would be interesting if Shawn wants to raise the baby with Belle, and Belle does it out of guilt for something.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she's getting chummy with EJ.
Yeah. What do you guys think of that? I know we've talked about it before. I just like them as friends. I like them as friends. I think it'd be interesting dynamic. I don't know if I like the couple with them. I don't.
Yeah.
Think so.
Look, I would accept them. I think I would accept them as a couple, but I think it would take a little more time. Not right now.
Yeah.
I could see it, just not right this second. If it happened in like a few more months and like some cataclysmic things had to happen in Belle and Shawn's marriage, then I think I could be on board with it. Right now, I'm just really, really happy that he's being a good friend to her.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want with them.
Yeah.
But you don't hate it, right?
Sure. No, I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like despise it and think it's horrible. I just I would prefer they went with maybe like commiserating best friends or something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of think that would be interesting because I don't even if they are a couple, I don't necessarily see them as long term or end game. So I think it'd be weird to sort of take that. I think there'd be a lot more damaging repercussions to her being with EJ than
even if. But I feel like it's time, and we'll get into this later with the other Damaras. But I really think that, particularly with EJ and Johnny, because of their past, because of their mistakes, they're tainted by the Damara name. And I've brought this up before, where it's like everybody sees Chad and Tony are the good Damaras, and EJ and Johnny are the bad Damaras. Kristen is in a league of her own, but that's a different story. That's a different story. But EJ really hasn't done anything wrong this year. And I'm getting real sick of people rolling their eyes at him, people saying, "Ugh, what's he going to do now?" Like when he came home and found Abigail there, I found her attitude really... I hated her attitude. I really did.
Yeah, it could have been more sympathetic.
Yeah. Because now you know he was wrongly accused. He was wrongly convicted. He did nothing to you. I get that you were traumatized in a certain way, but that wasn't him. So if that was the case, but then she just had this attitude of like, oh, he's just going to come back and he's just going to be EJ. He himself has done nothing this year.
Yeah, since he's
to earn that.
Yeah.
The only thing with Abigail, he did try to weasel his way into the movie.
But that was arrogant to me.
And arrogant. So maybe that's, she's still kind of harboring a little bit of, okay, this guy's an arrogant.
I'm just so annoyed with it.
Well, technically he did push Chad out. So that was the one thing that they justifiably can dislike him from the past.
Yeah. But it's just like
fired. I mean, that's enough, I think.
I just feel like everybody has the wrong attitude towards EJ right now, thinking like things are going to get worse. Where from where I'm sitting, EJ needed to come home. Things are hitting the fan that they don't realize. EJ needed to come home. And if they were smart, they would have looked at EJ and said, "Get your son in line." They would have looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't know about Johnny's possession, but they know that Johnny's been stirring up trouble, acting a fool. So they would have, if they were smart, if they were really going to look past their own notions, they would have looked at EJ and said, "Okay, welcome home. Now get your son in line."
Yeah. Well, I think even Belle thought, Abigail thought he was doing it under EJ. Like when he came home, she said something like, "Was this your bidding, or was he taking orders from you?" And EJ was like, "No, I had nothing to kind of do with
maybe if Johnny had taken the title for himself, but installing Gabby, I'm gonna need these people to have some more common sense in this. EJ coming home is a good thing. Man, I just loved his scenes with Belle at the bar. I really did. That's what a friend does. A friend doesn't say, in your worst moment, like if you're hitting like going over the edge, a friend will pull you back. But when you're just like, I just need to sit in my feelings. I don't see any good way about this. I need to sit with this instead. And a good friend will sit next to you and say, "Okay, well, you're not going to do this by yourself."
I will say I'm loving that they're having Shawn be perceptive of their closeness together. And even though it's heightened by the fact that him and Belle are in sort of distress now, I like that, and I think it was more than just him coming home and seeing them hugging. I think they've been building up to this the last few weeks with her working on his case, and like she's rushing off to the jail to see him. So I like that, like Shawn was being perceptive of like, there may be something here. I better sort of like keep an eye on this kind of a thing, which I thought was great.
Yeah. Shawn's not the bad guy in this. Neither is Belle. It's just a really awful situation.
You know what? It's funny to think of gender too, because like I thought about it. If this was flipped the other way, there's no way in hell they could have someone like Shawn being mad at Belle over that situation. Where I feel like because they're allowing Belle to be justified somewhat, because I think Shawn's a guy, honestly.
Oh.
Because if it were flipped and Shawn, I can imagine them writing a scene where Shawn went to Belle and is like, God forbid she was pregnant by, someone say the role reversed and she ended up pregnant. I don't think Shawn would be. They'd have a scene of Shawn berating Belle about it. It would be like, oh, let's not touch this. Like she was violated. She's a woman. Mm-hmm. But I think because it's a guy, it's. I like that they're acknowledging that he was violated, but I feel like they're also still like there are some like social gender norms there that are allowing them to like
it's not as big a deal because he's a guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's still wrong, guys.
Yeah,
it's still all kinds of wrong. But it's Jan, so we would expect nothing less from her. So we'll see how that plays out, but this is a storyline I'm not necessarily mad at.
It's interesting.
Okay, so let's move on to Johnny, Allie, Chanel, the return of Ghost Andre. That was a little twist. Abigail and Nicole. Okay, so let's start at the top of the week. Allie has now knows that her brother has been possessed for all this time. What did we think of her reaction? Her fighting, her now quickly going into fighting mode for her brother.
I felt it. Yeah, I felt it appropriate and genuine and what I would expect from her. Like, this is her twin brother. Mm-hmm. Like, she needs to try to help him. Yeah.
And I like that it showed it was powerful. Like their connection was enough to like sort of take on the devil, kind of, so to speak. So I like that aspect of it, of her sort of like fighting for him. Like, because we've talked about that before of like, as much as Johnny can be a pain, he's also like doesn't have anyone in his corner. No one's like asking about him. No one's wondering why he's acting weird. And I feel like we got all that in those first few scenes.
I mean, I felt it, but I'm kind of like at the point of too little, too late.
Okay.
Like, I'm not having Allie. And I think that's why I'm kind of not mad that the tables have turned on her and she is now possessed. Because I'm like, there's a certain you reap what you sow element here. And while the devil may have been pulling the strings all this time, it really, something should have kicked in. Something should have kicked in like, this is not my brother. This is not how my brother behaves. He's going way too far. And it should have happened sooner.
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I feel like maybe the anger that she felt towards Johnny doing what he did to her and Trip, even though like she is the one that cheated, like the anger she felt towards that betrayal, thinking that Johnny was acting as Johnny and not the devil, maybe that kind of kept her from the concern that she should have felt sooner. And until she saw it, like, so she confronted him in that moment, maybe it was just that anger that kind of blinded her.
I think she felt, I think it was an unequal love. She obviously had a stronger connection with Chanel than anyone realized. And she chose that love over her love for her brother.
I don't know if it was, was it a conscientious choice?
I don't know that it was a conscientious choice in the moment, but I think that you're right. She chose her anger and it blinded her.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she allowed her feelings for Chanel to sort of blind her to whatever was going on with Johnny. Because I think if she had no connection to Chanel, or if Chanel was just a platonic friend, I think it would be more even. I think it would be more even keeled between like loyalties to maybe like Chanel, her friend, or like her twin brother Johnny. So I think I can see that. Yeah, I think it was unconscious. I don't think she set out to sort of let that overtake her. But yeah.
Now I do feel very bad for Chanel because at this point this girl's just being used like a ping pong ball.
She's like she was like you said, like she's basically having a 100% repeat of what happened to her a couple months ago, just not in a public party, like exactly the same thing. And I think that Raven really killed it this week.
Yeah, she killed that
like
scene.
Just the devastation. Like she really, like, I was like, this girl has been through it and she's done.
Yeah. And she played it to perfection, the devastation, the confusion, because it's like, you're not just breaking up with me, you're bowing out of the business that we started together, you're like letting go of everything. What the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think I have more faith that Chanel is going to start questioning, and that's how sad is that? I think I have more faith than that Chanel is going to start putting pieces together and realizing, maybe not that the devil is still in town, but that something is very, very, very wrong here.
Yeah.
Well, if you think back, the devil has been playing with Chanel this whole time, starting back with Abe and Paulina's wedding.
Yep.
She used Chanel to break up the wedding, and then devil, whatever, Shim, used her, with Johnny, and now is using her with Allie. It would make sense that if she starts thinking back and is like, oh, well, when Milena was possessed, she used me. And then I wouldn't be surprised if Chanel does start putting the pieces together that maybe both Johnny and Allie were possessed, and that's why they're acting this way, and that's why Johnny is missing, and now Allie's acting all cold and distant, and putting the pieces together, kind of.
Yeah.
I can see her.
I love that. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
I would love for her to be the one to figure it out, because she's a smart cookie. She's been put through the ringer, and I'm sorry, I have very little faith in Allie, which is why I go back to, well, you know what? Yeah, this is not all the devil's fault. The devil plays games with people, yes. But y'all have to start taking responsibility for your own actions. You have some free will in this.
One thing that went through my mind when that whole scene where the devil, as Allie, was sort of breaking up with Chanel, part of me thought like, oh, is this how they're going to like even the playing field? Because remember, like, Johnny now is back to himself, and he's like, what the hell happened the last 3 months? I now don't have my wife anymore. And now she's with my sister. Well, now she's not with your sister. Yeah. So is this going to be like, whatever? Who knows how long this storyline's going to go? But like, is this how they even the playing field, where like Chanel has to choose between them, because technically Johnny wasn't the one who left her.
Right. I think Chanel's going to net out of this situation with very, very big trust issues.
Oh yeah.
Very big trust. Like she's probably not going to want either of them right away.
I would not be opposed to Chanel taking a hiatus, because she didn't just fall for two different people. She fell for a brother and sister.
Yeah.
And those two need more therapy. Those two have some stuff to work out when all of this is said and done.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of like, oh, I love Chanel more, or who treated her worse, or whatever. It's like, no. The devil played on some very deep trust issues between you two.
Yeah.
What if, just putting it out there, I know her and Chanel and Trip aren't, obviously on great terms right now, but what if he's like ends up being like the comfort, like once he gets over his anger of everything?
I think that he would have more sympathy towards Chanel. Because of everything that she's put through. I think that Trip has the capacity to see the bigger picture, but I think he also recognizes that Chanel had free will in this situation as well.
Or it could be one of those things of like, let's commiserate over what these two twins have done to us, kind of thing. Like, not in like a negative way, like a revenge, but also just like a you kind of know where I'm at here.
I don't think it would be romantic. But I think that they would be in the same boat of having really bad trust issues, and maybe it would at the very least create some forgiveness there.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that they would commiserate, I think, but I would hope that it would create some forgiveness there and some understanding, because they were both at some point used as ping pong balls in this little game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about Johnny in the crypt. So I don't know why it didn't compute. I don't know. In my mind, it didn't compute that Johnny would not actually remember.
Yeah, I
the
feel
events of the last few months.
That's a new one we have because Marlena did somewhat.
Right. There's confusion about some of these possessees, we'll call them.
Okay.
Remembering what they did while they were possessed and not remembering what they did when they were possessed.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, Johnny, this has been established that Johnny does not. He has no recollection of breaking up with Chanel or
he has like no memory at all. He basically like from Christmas to then it's nothing to him. Yeah, he doesn't remember anything. It's not April. Even like fighting the devil.
Yeah. So he hears about the events that have transpired, including that Allie and Chanel are now a couple. Do we think that he just doesn't believe the devil, or do we think that it hasn't computed what has happened in the last few months, or that he's just so focused on getting out?
I think at the end it was starting to compute to him. I think when Allie as the devil was saying it to him, he was kind of like, "What are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you're talking." But I think towards the end he was starting to put everything together of like it's been 4 months or 3 months or whatever, and
yeah.
I kind of took it as he put it together what was happening.
Yeah, but he had like a delayed reaction almost, and I feel I think his mind is playing catch up.
Yeah, because to him it's probably like the day of the engagement party, probably because that's when he fully took over. So for him,
Christmas.
During Marlena's exorcism jumped into.
That's right.
Him. Yeah. So that should be his last memory of being at the exorcism.
Yeah. It's like December,
which would make sense. But you see my point of why I'm rooting for Johnny. Oh my God, I didn't realize how much I miss just Johnny.
I liked him as that's the other thing. I like seeing these other people being possessed by the devil because it kind of, gives them a chance to kind of spread a little. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's entertaining to me. Like it was entertaining to me watching Lindsay,
she was great.
It's like she and the coldness that during that Chanel scene, in particular, I was like, she's playing this so well.
Yeah.
And Johnny played, the devil so well. And so Belle, and so it's like Martha, Carson, Lindsay. Who am I missing?
Deidre and Bill.
Well, Deidre and
Bill,
and
that was
Bill. Like
Bill,
all of them.
Oh my God.
All of them should be Emmy submissions of their scenes because they've been so good.
They have taken this and ran with it, which is great. And I feel like they've made really excellent choices in choosing who to possess. Because those people everybody that you just named has really risen to the occasion and played it to a T. But it was time. It was time to get Johnny back.
Yeah.
Okay, that scene with Ghost Andre where he stabbed him in the neck, like, actually scared me. Like, it was kind of brutal. I was like,
well, no, and like the sound effects, and then Carson's reaction, like where he was like, I was like, that'd be my reaction.
Blood, I was like, oh, that was kind of.
I was like, isn't that going to kill him? Like, isn't there like an artery somewhere around here?
That would, like, he would have bled to death if that was
stabbed in the neck with a pen. I'm like, oh God.
It wasn't like a little slice. He like stabbed. That was really brutal. I was like, oh wow, that was an interesting scene. But also speaking of like the devil, we now have Teo in a way now has get to sort of live out that. I mean, he's been so I don't want to say tame and neutered as Tony, but like getting back to playing Andre. Sort of that devilish side, I'm sure was a lot of fun for him for a minute.
And it was interesting the way that Ghost Andre put it.
Yeah.
So we've seen this play from the devil before, where he made Nick and who else? And
Charlie and
Deimos
rise from the dead.
Oh, all three of them should be Emmy contenders too. Anyway,
yes, those they had their little antics back in October. So that was an interesting choice, and so to see Teo have this turn, so basically, but in that area, the devil just kind of let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, Andre said that the devil, he's doing the devil's bidding, that he's kind of like bound to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he's in hell.
Yeah, it was basically confirmation of where Andre went, like with the hell, and yeah.
Yes, because I know that Andre was doing devilish things before he died, but I still kind of didn't get the sense that he would necessarily turn on the family completely.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Andre was Andre, so
yeah,
complicated.
It probably suits Andre better to be the devil's bidder than to not be the devil's bidder.
Yeah, exactly. Because stabbing your great nephew is kind of a
God, yeah, you're right. That was just like, ugh.
Yeah, that was just a little bit of a leap for me. I'm like, would real Andre really do this? Yeah. So that was, and then, So, do we have any confidence? So nobody's found Johnny. Johnny has apparently left a letter. How much Italian could Johnny possibly know to leave a letter like that? I gotta ask.
Well, he did grow up in Italy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fair point. But okay. So nobody's now. Have the setup. Nobody's looking for Johnny.
Well, we've seen before, like when Sammy left, all they needed was a text, and they were like, "Oh, okay, she there was no kidnapping involved. Oh, it's just she's gone." So a handwritten letter signed in blood. Yeah, they're probably like, "Okay, he's gone."
I have to say this: did you guys think it was going to be a suicide note? I thought that's what it was at first, and then I just automatically assumed that's what they were implying, and that was going to be the way for them, like not to look for Johnny, like they were going to play it off as a suicide. And then when I read it, I was like, oh, they're just making him go away or something. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense too. But
I have given up on the people. I've given up on most of the characters on the canvas figuring this out. The only people I have any faith left in to possibly figure this out would be Chanel and EJ.
Okay.
Maybe Belle too. Maybe if they wrote Belle into this somehow, I feel like maybe she might have some insight.
Normally, I would say yes, if not for the Jan of it all. I think Belle's just going to be too distracted.
Yeah.
But EJ has got nothing but time.
Yeah.
Need him to figure out that something is very wrong here.
Because I felt before like Belle was even like that's what led to her possession, but I felt like she was starting to put the pieces together a little bit, or at least onto suspicious of Johnny before. So yeah.
Oh yeah, she figured it out.
Yeah.
She just doesn't remember that she figured it out.
She doesn't remember it.
Yeah, but see, I have very little faith in everybody else on the campus. Guys, know your family members. Obviously, most of your family members, if they show a great change in behavior, or they're probably not possessed.
It could be other things. But
yes, but it's like if they show such a drastic change in behavior in a short amount of time, maybe they're depressed, maybe they have dementia, but either way, they require your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. Okay. So let's move on to
some other family drama. another family member that ain't acting right.
Yeah. So I'm really losing track of who's in whose bodies now. We have Saray, who may not be Saray anymore. Anna, Tony, Xander, Maggie, Gwen, Abigail. Okay, so the week started off with that stab that Anna gave.
Oh, perfect.
Sarah. Okay. No, I'm legitimately asking because people are kind of divided on this. How do we feel about Anna stabbing Sarah?
Oh, I'm for it.
I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it. I understand why, but I don't necessarily think she should have.
Yeah, because it looked like Maggie was leaning more towards I'm not going to give it to her.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
go the
think
safe
that
route.
Tony and Xander would have had a very big reaction to that. But we'll never know because Anna took that decision away.
Anna took the choice away. But I do feel it's very honest of the character.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, yeah, that's something Anna would do, but I don't agree that she should have. But she doesn't seem sorry about it. So
at all.
Okay, we've been talking about Tony's sort of dissension and their troubles there. This was the first time. I think before I was giving Tony some slack before, and obviously his issues with Renee and stirring up those issues are affecting this. But I thought this week he was like really out of line with Anna. It's one thing I think for Maggie to like have that vested interest of like, I don't know what's in my daughter, like this is a concern, but for Tony to take that on against Anna, I just felt like that was sort of a betrayal. And then when she was arrested, he was just kind of like, I know he couldn't do anything for her, but he was just sort of like hands off of like, she could have been a stranger or something. I'm like, okay, like this is still Anna, like
still go with her.
Yeah, there was, yeah,
it was, you know, yeah.
I thought he was freakishly detached from her, which didn't make any sense. And yeah, I thought they may have taken it a little bit too far. I think his reaction.
Yeah, I mean, just I had to put myself in a perspective of like like stabbing someone with a syringe is illegal. It is assault. No. So in that sense, I feel like Tony was justified. I was so on Tony before. I was like, what the heck are you doing? You don't have a plan. But now I did kind of agree with Tony at this point. I don't necessarily disagree with Anna.
Yeah.
That stabbing Sarah. I mean, I don't know what I don't think not giving her something was an option at this point. Maggie floundering. I'm like, no. Your daughter can't stay this way forever. At the same time, I do kind of agree with Tony. I'm like, it's like this was not the way to do it.
Yeah.
But regardless, it seems that the decision that Anna made unintentionally backfired.
Yeah.
Because Gwen switched the vials with I guess she kept the same formula. She didn't use it all on Abigail. She kept some handy. For God knows what reason.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Oh God, why? So whatever.
I want to be on Gwen's side. I cannot be any longer.
No,
like every time she takes steps forward, it's like 500 steps back. Like at this point, I can't be on her side, and I think maybe this is leading to something.
Yeah.
Where they're now solidifying who Gwen is as a person.
Yeah.
And she can't help herself. And she even said it when they had that moment with Gabby and how alike they were when they get hurt or they get, they're reactionary or they do things. And that's when we got the flashback of her doing switcheroo with the vials. And I'm just like, okay, girl, I'm out. Not on your side anymore. You like, there's no excuse now. You knew you shouldn't do that. You knew why you were doing it. And you didn't have enough restraint not to do it. And nope, I'm done.
I'm so
and you knew the potential. You knew the potential of what could happen to Sarah, and you didn't anyway.
I'm so with you. Like this, like I feel like this was almost not gasped, but I was like, did you really just do that? This was such her crossing the line. This was such a betrayal. And first, I want to say, when they started showing the flashback of Gwen in there, I honestly was thoroughly confused because I had no idea like that was coming or that there would be a switch or something.
Right.
So part of me was a little confused, like, wait, what's going on? And I was like, wait, she switched. And I was like, okay, this is where they're going with it. But the fact that she actively made the decision to not switch it with like a placebo or put saline in it, but she was like, no, I'm going to damage this woman further. Yeah. Like
she knew she knew the possible implications of what she was
seriously doing. Yes. Like that was just a step too far. Like I won't say I'd be glad, but I I think the scheming part of Gwen, I would have been more on her side if she just replaced it with like a placebo, we said. And then it could have been like, okay, well, she's still riding that territory of like, I didn't do this, but I'm not going to help kind of a thing, which she did early on with knowing about Sarah being kidnapped. But like, I didn't kidnap her, but I'm not going to help save her. I felt like this was sort of on that level. But when she made that decision to give her an extra dose, knowing already that she was struggling, and yeah, that was just really cruel and maybe actually really uncomfortable because it's like you're basically making her mentally ill now. Like, you're doing.
I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end for Gwen. Like she's been exactly like and when this is revealed, there's going to be zero forgiveness.
Yeah. Yes,
like,
exactly.
Pulled too much. She like, and this affects so many people that and yeah, there's no coming back from this.
We cut Gwen a lot of slack in this situation because
I feel betrayed.
Because she wasn't responsible for Sarah ending up the way that she did. She had zero contact with her. She wasn't even in town when all of this first started. So we cut Gwen a lot of slack. You know what this reminded me of?
Despite what she did, despite even like back when she was messing with Abigail, we even like.
And still, we were like, well, she's
but stuff with the baby. We got her some slack for that.
Yes.
And now there's no slack.
No. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of in the 90s. I wasn't even watching them, but I've caught up in clips, and you know how in the 90s, you know, Kristen was once upon a time, you know, she was Billy and Jennifer's best friend. She was the good girl. She was the good Demera. She genuinely fell in love with John. And then we saw, you know, little by little, the Kristen that we knew was chipped away. She was slowly worn down by a lot of things, and people cut her slack. And then, but the more that she went down the rabbit hole, and then there was just a point of no return for her.
Once the baby, I feel like you're right. And I'm trying to think of like at what point, because I watched that whole thing.
It was the baby dying. It was the miscarriage with the baby that really sent her. That and Peter died at the same time.
Oh yeah,
so
and then
like both of those things put her over the edge.
It was interesting with that because Kristen actually wasn't in on it, and she was angry at first that Stefano and Peter did that to her. But then, of course, you know, she's part of the family, and there was such great scenes.
And there was a point when she made a choice. You know, it wasn't things that are done to it. It's not the point when, you know, things are done to you and you start spiraling out that you become the bad person. It's the point where you make a conscious choice of no return.
Yeah,
and Kristen had that.
Because at that time, that was also when John and Marlena were sort of kind of starting to sneak around behind her back and get close. So like there was this weird point where it was like Kristen's kind of justified a little bit, and then like you said, she took it way too far, kind of a thing. But we're seeing that with Gwen. It was like she really crossed the line this week. Like all that's
unfortunate. Like there was potential for Gwen to be a great character.
Yes,
and for whatever reason, it's just it. And because Emily O'Brien is great, so and early on, you know, there were some scenes with her and Brandon and her with her and Marcy, where it was like, oh, she's so strong. They can do so much. This can be like a great long-term character. And now it's like all she's doing is pulling shit, and there's no, you know, maybe twinge of remorse, but it's not enough for her to stop doing it. And you know, you just have to you're like, I'm done, girl.
Yeah, and it's to the point where, you know, Gwen and Gabby had those scenes together and they started talking. They were like, actually, you know, they had a lot in common. They could be friends. But the thought of the two of them being friends and having an ally in each other and wreaking havoc scares the hell out of me.
It's so funny when they sat down, because I forget about the initial part of Gwen, because I think I actually really didn't like her back then when the whole Jake stuff, like that part is, she's such a different character to me now that when Gabby sat down with her, I was like, do they know each other? Like, I completely forgot.
What was their? Yeah, I kind of had to take a minute and be like, okay, their history goes back to Jake.
Yeah. I was like, wait, do they know each other? And then like as they start talking, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. She came on as his girlfriend. I don't even associate with her or with Jake anymore. Like that's how I feel like
she's been so far removed from that now.
Yeah, exactly. But
so Gwen is sorry, Gwen. We don't support you anymore.
Yeah.
But now the question is, so basically she just drugged her up more with the exact same drug that was used on her before. So now the question is, who is Sarah now?
Sarah is like 3-year-old Sarah.
I know.
That's what I took from that scene with Maggie was that Sarah is now Sarah, but like young Sarah, like young Sarah. Like Sarah thinks she's 3 years old.
That's what I was getting.
The way she was talking.
Are we gonna get teenage Sarah or like preteen? Yeah, she thinks she's.
I think even younger than that. Like the way she was looking and the way that Lindsay Godfrey, love you by the way, because the way she was looking, even like her expressions were kind of childlike, and that voice. I feel like we're getting like 5 to 6 year old Sarah now.
Whoa,
really weird. Yeah.
At least that's what I took from what I saw.
I'm hoping I'm hoping they're done with Renee. I'm hoping this was an out for Renee. I think my patience is.
I'm not gonna say that this is better necessarily.
No,
I did enjoy Sarah as Renee, like in the bickering or like the staunch, like the what do you call it? Like the just the way she was talking to people. I thought it was I was entertained by it. But
I was gonna say I did love the Gwen thing where like it's Sarah and Renee melding together. So when she saw Gwen, she thought she was Gwen Davies. I think it's Gwen Davies from back then in the 80s. Yeah, I was like, when she did that, I was like, wait, how did she get Gwen? And then I remembered someone else had posted. I think it was Days of Our Lives Classics. Follow their Instagram; they're amazing and big supporters of us. But they had posted a few weeks ago. They were doing this thing on Alex Marshall, and then they put it. So him and Gwen, of course, were like schemers together. So they posted some stuff of her back in the day. But yeah,
that's an interesting.
It's like how she was like, you found someone to marry you.
Yeah.
Like, Renee's a bitch, man. But I was here for it. I was like, I like her.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody could play all of these different characters to a T, it would be Lindsay Godfrey.
Okay, and still, I cannot stop looking at the wig and exactly where she told us that it's like real hair, and then where the wig starts and her real hair ends. And actually, Mark was watching it with me this week, and he was like, oh, her hair's like, what did he say? It's like, oh, it's long and crimpy now. I'm like, it's actually a wig. And he's like, it is. And I paused it and I was like, so see, she showed us. This is where her real hair ends. And he's like, oh, wow.
It's funny. I watched it this week and I thought like, I didn't know if it was not a new wig, or maybe I just got used to the hair. I was like, oh, her hair looks different. Like,
she told us that they kept altering it.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, it looks a little different, but not much. So I was like, am I just getting used to the wig, or like all have they gotten her?
But still, I can't stop staring at it. It's like I can see it now. It's all I concentrate on.
Yeah. So I mean, it also works for. If we're gonna, what are we gonna call her? Baby Sarah?
Oh God,
yeah.
Baby Sarah. I guess Sarah it works for Baby Sarah.
Little Sarah, LIL Sarah, like Sarah? Little Debbie.
Oh my!
I'm wondering what the conflict will be, because I felt like the Renee was interesting in the sense that it took her out of Sarah, but also gave her conflict with other people. I wonder though, if she's just young Sarah, then where does the conflict come in? I mean, is it just that she's just young Sarah mentally ill? Or do you know what I mean? Like where else would they take that? I'm guessing.
I mean, maybe this will be the point where they, say, okay, she needs to go to Bayview. Like she needs
I actually think the opposite. I think that little Sarah would be easier to manage than Saray. And at least Maggie, I think Maggie might have an easier time keeping an eye on her.
That's what I'm thinking.
Aren't they working? Sorry, Justin. Aren't they working to like flush the drug out? Wasn't that something
too late now? Too late now.
I feel like there was a mention, maybe somewhere. I may not be remembering.
No, they
were
said
trying
that.
to flesh it out.
Yeah, they said it, but before it took effect. It's now taken effect.
Yeah. Also, I think they were also thinking of like it's the antidote. So like they were thinking, oh, we can flush it out, but not knowing that it's another dose of the medicine that of the drug essentially. So I think flushing it out is probably not an option for the drug, but maybe an option.
Well, because I was going to say, if they are trying to flush it out, maybe this won't be a long-term change. Mm-hmm. Or there could be the option that Sarah remembers who she is and is trying to mess with everyone for a reason, or she knows something. She somehow knows that she's being effed with and is now playing it to reveal it. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Or do you think
we're gonna be stuck with little Sarah for a while?
I was gonna say who else could she be, like, going further, and I was like, but that a lot of that was predicated on gathering Renee's diary, so I was like, it wouldn't really work with someone else. But I'm thinking, like, would she think she's someone else? Maybe someone that she like. What if she thought she was Hope, or like
we're gonna need an explanation for all these
questions. Oh man, people would be They
could do like
Hope back in. Oh man.
They could do like she thinks she's Melissa, maybe. Like that could be interesting if she thought she was Melissa, maybe. At least that'll keep like her from Xander.
Well, we know that she's Sarah. She thinks she's Sarah. We can assume by her baby voice, she thinks she's young.
And the face really sold it for me too.
Did she say mom?
Yes.
See, that's what made me think. Like I was like, oh,
no. She said, "I'm Sarah Horton, and you're my mommy."
Oh, okay.
You're my mommy.
Okay,
and mommy, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Got it.
And I think even Maggie kind of like realized what was happening.
I think she was relieved. We didn't get too much of Maggie's reaction.
Yeah.
So it was literally what I said. My reaction when I saw that scene was, "Oh, yay!" And then she said, "And you're my mommy," and I'm like, "Ruh-roh."
Well, and I think that was Maggie's reaction was kind of, it was relief mixed with like, oh shit, what's wrong now?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like young Sarah I feel like maybe teenage Sarah would make more sense. Because that's when she was like a full-fledged character on the show.
Yeah, but she wouldn't react the way she did.
That's what I'm just saying. Like,
I mean, I think we have hopes maybe for who she is, but I think this is I think we're spot on. I think she thinks she's under the age of 10.
Just regressed, or wow.
What I'm really hoping is like, okay, so this part is kind of like, I feel like this part of the storyline's coming to a head. The possession part may be coming to a head. Ron, like we talked about earlier, Ron tweeted that something about possession, the final chapter. I'm hoping that we get like what we used to get, like you were talking about the 90s, when like you had these like two major stories that would come to a head like kind of at once to like one big, like call it a soap opera digest showdown or whatever. Like I really hope we get something big for May, because I don't want to say that's missing from the show right now, but I just remembered that those were like the big payoffs.
Building.
Yeah, it's building, and then it's going to lead to something major.
Yeah, it does feel like we're building to something in these storylines. It really feels like they can't go on much longer without some kind of an explosion, which will be great. And I look at it as like, spring, the season of change. Please end soon and give me a summer of love.
Yeah.
Was the summer of... It was the summer.
I think we're all ready. I think the show is ready. I think we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, we're ready to close some things and move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And so those were your main storylines. And before we move on to our tidbits, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for all your Dishin Days goodness. Make sure to follow us on social media, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on Twitter. Follow us on all your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Take your pick and buy our merch. DishinDays.threadless.com is where you can find our merch. All right, let's move on to tidbits. real quick. We kind of talked about it a little bit of this. Ava, Jake, Gabby, Gwen. So we talked about the conversation between Gabby and Gwen. Was that before or after Gabby stormed into Jake's room?
It was after.
It was after. Okay.
No. The stuff with Gwen was before. Because
you're right. I got my days mixed up. I watched. Full disclosure, I watched the show out of sequence this week. Like, I watched Thursday's episode on Thursday, and then I watched. Yeah, I was all messed up.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah, because that's her talk with Gwen is what propelled her to go over to Jake's and like.
You're right.
Yes. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, so then that propelled Gabby to go and talk to Jake. Why did she think that Gwen's advice for her relationship with Jake would work for her?
Yeah, it was so different. And yeah, it was.
They had such a different relationship. I'm really confused.
Yeah.
But maybe it was the fact that it was different from what Gabby would do, that Gabby was like, okay, I'll try this. Maybe that's how much she wants to try to fix things. But,
Yeah. But does anybody see the parallels and kind of like how this almost further solidifies Jake's point that Gabby either she was trying to replace Stefan with Jake, or she was just trying to replace Stefan, period, because she really seems to not understand who Jake is and why. Like she's trying to use advice from a relationship, his previous relationship that did not work at all, to her relationship. She really doesn't seem to know who Jake is at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was no sort of ownership of like, why did I think this? Why was I so easily manipulated? Like, let's talk about it. There was none. It was just sort of like, do you forgive me? Like, we can get back together. The devil. It was so like, like she was completely missing his point of like, you turned on me so fast. Like all it took was,
you clearly did not trust me because exactly. You were so easily swayed against me.
Yeah.
So I can see where I'm Team Jake on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're all Team Jake.
Yeah.
The whole living with Ava stitch is a little weird, but
I'm glad that they addressed that. I'm glad that they didn't have the secret bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden the garage apartment has like 3 bedrooms or something. So I thought that was cute that they at least were being realistic of like, this is kind of like a studio apartment. It's not.
Yeah, it literally is a studio apartment.
Yeah. But you see what I mean? Like, they're not together. They're barely friends. But in those conversations, we still get more of Jake, the real Jake, his personality out of that. Because he's being totally honest with her. She's being totally honest with him.
Yep.
There's no pretense of anything there.
Right. Like wink, wink in terms of the rave stuff. But yeah, I think she's been honest as much as she can with him.
They don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I know what you did, I know what you did, but it's like we don't have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
So not much there, other than I think are we still on board with this friendship?
I am. Yeah.
Totally.
Together.
Yeah. See how on board we are when people are just honest.
I will say authentic self. I am gonna need like something for Ava though. I also don't want her to now become Jake's domesticated friend or domesticated girl. Like I don't know. I'm still holding up for that Titan stuff. I think that'd be a good sort of storyline for them. For them to be running Titan and Ava to be running Gabby Chic, because like I don't know. I think it's interesting. It also would make her rival of Nicole too there. So I think they can kind of kill 2 birds with one stone.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I could see it. I don't think I could see Jake. I think Jake is going to give up on the corporate stuff.
I feel like they're going that way with him, yeah.
Yeah. But Ava, you're right. I could totally see that. And it would be a great way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was them. And then we got a good chunk of meat on this storyline. Ben, Sierra, Clyde, Roman, Kate, with a little bit of EJ thrown in. Okay, so let's start with I'll pose the exact same question that I posed last week. Was it a good idea for Roman to hire Clyde?
if his intention was to keep an eye on Clyde and to like keep him close by, to keep tabs on him, then maybe it wasn't the worst decision. However, he could have at least expressed that to Kate before he did it.
I thought, honestly, Michael, I thought about you the whole time because I was like, oh, I think this is what Michael Madison was saying. Like, he's going to reveal that of like, I want to keep an eye on him, or he said nothing. And even when Kate,
I feel like he said something a little bit like I feel like Roman said something. It may not have been to Kate. It may have been to someone else.
Was it about rehabilitation, or was it Clyde then? Because it was only those two.
It must have been to Kate, like kind of implying that he was keeping an eye on him.
Okay,
but it wasn't very direct.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the person you tell, like you know their history too. Also, when Kate was bringing up the fact of like, hello, the last time he was here, he kidnapped Henry. Like, where's the
great grandson? Yeah. And then Clyde made a joke about it.
I know.
Like, oh God, read the room.
I won't be kidnapping any. What do you say? I won't be kidnapping any kid soon because I'll have my grandkid or something. It was like, wait, what?
Well, that's Clyde.
Weird.
I mean, true. You're just like, oh, shucks, Clyde, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Roman would have sat down and had a longer conversation with Kate about it if he'd had the time, but Kate came in just as he was making that decision. I think they'll talk about it more. Maybe we will or won't see those conversations, but I do think that Roman will further explain himself to Kate. But I'm looking at Roman and he's very in that whole thing where Clyde just kept tripping over himself and acting very Clyde. Roman wasn't, he was just very steady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was very steady. He didn't say much. He was just kind of like, you really got the sense that like Roman knows what he's doing.
Yeah, like if there's something going on, the wheels are turning, or
like Roman knows exactly who this man is. He knows exactly what decision he made, and you really got the sense of like that's what made me think like, no, this is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if Clyde starts pulling shenanigans, it'll be harder for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the pub, like Kate was saying, like, you know, like he'll sell drugs out of the pub. Maybe he'll try, but Roman's already one step ahead. He's keeping an eye out. He's he's staying sharp.
We also did get that glimpse at the end of Clyde sort of I'm assuming it's longingly looking at Kate, sort of like, is it like, I don't know, if he's gonna make another attempt at something.
Do we think that he's still into her?
Who, Clyde?
Yeah, was it longingly? I was kind of confused by the expression on his face. I couldn't tell if it was like a longing or what exactly that was.
I kind of got like lingering feelings just because they had just gone back and forth. And you know, like that was always sort of part of their relationship too, of like their equals, of like, you know, ribbing each other kind of a thing. And they had just done that. So I kind of felt like maybe it sparked something in him of like, oh, maybe I do want Kate back, or maybe like I might have a second chance with Kate or something, or maybe it was just interest of like, this is what we do with each other, or whatever. Yeah, there's still something there or something.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as we talk about how Clyde is so Clyde, and you can totally tell that like the rude things and the just batshit crazy things he says are totally him. There is a little bit of an element to him that, you know, when he's quiet, when he's pondering, sometimes it is kind of hard to figure out what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
so we have the juxtaposition of like him and Sierra, and him being so sweet about the baby, and like I 100% was, I think, being genuine there, and like really interested in like his grandchild, and appreciative of them giving him a place to stay. So
exactly. But then in those later scenes when he's talking with Ben, and Ben fills him in on the devil stuff, I couldn't really read Clyde in that moment. I couldn't. And like you could tell, I think that he is 100% supportive of Sierra. I think that Sierra, back when she was fighting for Ben, earned his respect 100%. And he'll back her, whatever she wants. But I couldn't really read his expression when Ben started talking about the devil and like what role. And I started thinking of like, does Clyde have a role to play in this?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, because think about it. Clyde versus the devil.
I was going to say, is this going to be a little redeeming for Clyde? Like, is he going to come to the rescue and like change? Is Sierra now gonna, is this what like gets him basically like his foot in the door with everyone? Maybe at least, for a little while.
Could be.
Yeah, because his love for that baby seems genuine. His love for Ben seems genuine. He genuinely seems to respect Sierra. He's going overboard, so it's kind of like, I don't want to say that we're necessarily rooting for Clyde.
Yeah,
but
we're giving him a chance.
I think everybody else in the canvas and everything else is so crazy right now that maybe rooting for Clyde isn't the craziest thing that we could do.
Right. And he also turned down EJ's offer, which seemed fairly generous, and something probably Clyde would have taken in the past.
I don't think he was given the chance, though. I think he would have renegotiated. We'll revisit that conversation. There wasn't much to that conversation. I think that conversation isn't done.
Yeah. Well, I meant more in terms of like jumping parole and like disappearing, and like EJ was offering basically like jump parole and I'll set you up someplace if you just get out of town. I think old Clyde without the benefit of a grandchild coming and maybe Ben and Sierra in the picture and developing that relationship, I felt like old Clyde would have jumped on something like that before, but I think he's in a different space now where he wants to be around. So it was sort of like, it was a very generous offer for, considering their history, to be like, take this money, get out of here. This town isn't big enough for the both of us. I think old Clyde would have jumped on it.
And funny enough, it's kind of like, the more I think about it, Clyde and EJ getting out of prison, even though they have beef with each other, couldn't have happened at a better time. The more I think about it, it feels like the more we talk about it, the more necessary it felt.
Yeah. It's definitely setting up. Yeah, I feel like we're setting up new storylines here because, I mean, what's EJ coming back to? Who knows what's going to happen with getting Gabby out of Demira, if that's going to be his focus, or is like sort of, going back and forth with Clyde now. Is that the storyline that's going to occupy him for a minute?
Well, they both unknowingly have a common enemy in the devil. Because the devil is actively, well, we don't know why. We know for sure that that's the goal. Ben and Sierra's baby. The devil is after Ben and Sierra's baby. And he's been using EJ's kid for the last few months to get, bide his time and get further toward that goal. So they have a common enemy. They just don't know it.
Okay. I was thinking of this during the whole, the Ben and Sierra stuff with the baby, how the focus seems to be back on the baby now that the devil's an ally. Now I know Sierra is further along than Jan, but whenever two women on the show were pregnant at the same time, I automatically think like baby switch, or like, maybe something transfers from one. And I'm thinking the whole reason the devil wanted Ben and Sierra was because of the DNA of Ben with like the goodness of Sierra. So now don't we have the switch of that with the DNA of Jan?
The bad of Jan and the good of Shawn. If
he's really the father. So I wonder if we may get like transference there where the devil switches course and it's now Jan and Shawn's baby.
Well, does the devil know that Jan is pregnant?
Well, not yet. I'm guessing, but I'm guessing that will come out. Shawn seems to be letting everyone know. It seems to be coming out pretty easily.
But the devil should be all, sometimes he's all knowing, sometimes he's not.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, he should know because he's the devil.
Yeah.
The answer to this question.
I wonder if we get some kind of like, and this is horrible, but like Jan's baby is sacrificed for, like, it's a bargain. Like, don't take Ben and Sierra's baby. Yeah. Take this baby instead.
That's what I was thinking.
I think all of these answers are predicated on the end goal, where we've been saying like we know devil wants Ben and Sierra's baby. We don't know for what.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to that question will answer all these other questions.
And the funny thing is, the devil had a more hand in Jan and Shawn's baby than it did in Ben and Sierra's. I mean, that was sort of orchestrated under the spell or the guise of his schemes, kind of.
Yeah.
So interesting.
We know the who. We know the why. No, we know the what and when. Whenever Sierra gives birth, we don't know the why.
Yeah.
There's that last little tidbit question we haven't gotten the answer to.
And it seems like it's coming up because I think she was pregnant before Halloween or around Halloween. So I think the Sierra baby at least is due very soon.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if they wished to speed it up, they're at the point where they could.
Yeah, exactly. It would be believable. Yeah.
Yes, but in the next month, 2 month mark, I think that they'll probably speed it up.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. That was your week of days, everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry that we can't read your comments. Life happens, as it is, but I will enjoy reading them afterwards.
Yes.
So before we leave you, let's get into our segments. Tony is still out, so we do not have a 3 snaps. We will start with Michael Mattis's Caption That.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Sarah and Maggie in the hospital room, and this week's caption goes to Vanessa Avila on Instagram with her caption, "I give up. My name is really Caroline Spencer Forrester." Wink, wink to The Bold and the Beautiful.
Nice.
Not gonna lie, I lost interest in a lot of the storylines on that show after Lindsay left.
Oh.
Lindsay was great there.
Yeah.
All right. And that was Caption That. And now we move on to Those Were the Days.
Okay, this week's segment, I am taking everyone back to April 7th, 2005, where Patrick Lockhart and Billy slept together. And not only slept together, but broke the bed. Do you guys remember this scene, this storyline? I remember it clear as day because I'm a big Patrick Lockhart fan. And this was when Billy came back to town. She was getting along with Hope, and she actually was staying with Bo and Hope. She was living with them. And then this is before Patrick and Hope got together, and Patrick was new in town, whatever. They get together, get an instant attraction, go home, and very rarely on soaps will they have sex scenes. It's more like them making love kind of thing. But this was an actual sex scene with noises. And then they broke the bed. And this scene, if the bottom panel with them in bed, that's when the bed broke. And I remember it clear as day. Bo and Hope, because they were both Hope's house, came rushing in. And they were doing this whole storyline where Bo was seething jealous, and it was sort of setting up this whole thing of Billy isn't the one pursuing Bo now. It's Bo sort of being jealous of Patrick and Billy being together. And so, all that to say, this is when Brody Hutzler as Patrick Lockhart and Julie Pinson's version of Billy were together, slept together, broke the bed. On April 7th, 2005. And I found these cute pictures of them together. I
remember none of this.
Yeah. And this was before Patrick was with Hope. So he was originally with Billy, and he was originally with Jennifer before he went to Hope.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember none of this. It was a weird transition. I do, but now that you mentioned breaking the bed, they seem to be doing that a lot around that time, because I remember a scene where Sammy and Lucas did that.
That was the other one they did at that time. Yeah. They had them break the bed. Yeah.
So that seemed to be a very big thing.
Yeah. But can we bring Patrick Lockhart back, please?
Yeah.
And remember, he was supposed to be Sierra's father. That's where that storyline was going. And then they got rid of him. And I'm down for a Patrick Lockhart now that Bonnie's back. And bring Brody.
You can easily slide him back into the
that'd be that'd be interesting. There's a lot of people from the mid to late 2000s that I think need to be brought back now. It's time.
Bring back Greta. Bring back all those people who were fun characters. And, that was those were the days.
Those were the days. And now it's time for my segment. It's a GIF. And this week's It's a Gift goes to Abigail.
Oh my God.
Never-ending patience with Anna.
That scene had me on the floor dying.
And it's like Anna in the background with the flower. And
Yeah.
it's just like, ah!
And I love it. Go ahead, sorry.
Damsel in distress.
Well, the only thing I had to say about this was that, you know that Abigail is the mother of toddlers.
Yes, yeah. This was so Abigail and Anna, and I like that they let it ride out. It wasn't just like a one joke thing. Like they seriously had her do it the whole conversation she was on with Chad. I was like, I'm loving this. I'm like, yeah, this is the Anna we know and love, but also like how other people react to Anna, the exasperation, and
Well, this is also so Abigail, which is like, man, I just had to deal with like these two toddlers, and I thought I was gonna get some adult conversation, and I'm not. So I'm out.
Like you said, keep putting Anna and Abigail together. We like their dynamic.
Yes, I mean, they do have a good friendship, but then you reach a point where you can like totally tell Abigail knows how to handle her.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, Abigail Demira, for handling toddler Anna, you get my vote for this week's It's a Gift.
Yeah.
And that's time for news and gossip.
Yes, starting off, we have a big congratulations to Kyle Lauder, Rex Brady, ex Brady Black. He has now passed his exams and become an official realtor. He's doing that on the side in addition to acting. He hasn't stopped acting, so don't worry. Hopefully we'll see him soon. But yeah, he's affiliated with Village Properties here in LA, and he does mostly I think he did a post about this. If not, go check out his IG at Kyle Lauder. He's basically representing properties in the Montecito, Santa Barbara area. So yeah, if you happen to be looking, reach out to Kyle. So yeah, big congrats to him on
affordable housing up there. Yeah,
otherwise known as where Oprah lives.
Yes, you definitely have to have some money. So like,
yeah, that gives you an idea of the market he's dealing with.
Yeah. No offense, but
the Oprahs and the Ellen DeGenereses of
not
the
with
world.
Century 21. No, he's definitely
he's not with Remax.
Yeah. If you're in the mood for a 10-bedroom mansion, you can contact Kyle, and I'm sure he will help you out. And
good for him.
Property. Yeah, really good for him. He's been missing on IG lately, and I think people were wondering why. And I guess he came back and sort of said this is why he's been studying for his license and passed, and now he's a licensed realtor. So big congrats to Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah. Next up, we have another big congratulations to friend of the show, Chriselle Stiles. They just released the season 5 trailer for Selling Sunset. I don't know how many of our viewers watch Chriselle on the show, but it's just hilarious and very soap opera-y and very LA. And speaking of LA real estate, you know what? Kyle Lauder for season 6. Listen, bring Kyle on the show for season 6.
There you go.
There's some days cross promotion
competing realty. That's interesting.
Yeah, listen, I'm taking credit for that, and I think we're going to see it. So I want my 10%.
Big twist.
Yeah.
Except that they work on opposite sides of town from each other, so that's the only thing.
Yeah, well, maybe
it would have to be what is it? Selling? What's it called up there?
Selling Montecito.
Selling Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Selling SB.
Yeah. They can make it work, I'm sure.
That actually that's not a bad idea, actually, and I could
actually with those shows, like Montecito's not that far away from.
No,
they could make it like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. None of them actually live in Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
like
and
some live
in on Selling Sunset this past year, they've been sort of one of the plot lines was them branching out to selling more into Malibu and in the coast there. So I'm taking credit for that market. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go check out the season 5 trailer, and the show premieres. I think season 5 starts end of April. I want to say like April 27th or something. So you get your Chriselle Stiles fixed. And again, she's great on the show, and so check that out.
I've pretty much given up on her coming back to Days with Selling Sunset and everything else she's doing. I think
she's been doing a lot. She had her book come out last year.
Yeah,
she's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, she could tell she's a self-starter, so she'll come back to Days if they find a way to do it for her if she really loves it. She does it for the love of it. Yeah. She doesn't need to do it anymore.
I'm still holding. I say bring her back as Cassie. I'm still holding out that little fan thing of bring her back as Cassie Brady. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which rumor was that's who she was originally supposed to play. Because remember, like when she was playing Jordan in the beginning, it was like secretive who Jordan was and all that stuff. So the idea was that she was supposed to be Cassie back then, and then they switched it. Who knows if that's true? That was just sort of the rumors out there. Because they were setting up this rivalry with Kate, and it was like, oh, she's going to be Cassie. Anyway, moving on, we have some new content for the Days YouTube channel. Go check it out. It is an interview with Greg Vaughn, sort of marking his return to Days, and Ari Zucker. And they just talk about his return, why he decided to kind of come back, and what he has in store. He didn't give any spoilers, of course, but he did say that there's going to be... his return marks the beginning of a storyline of like a family crisis. I'm pretty sure he wasn't talking about the devil storyline. It seemed like that's not what he was talking about. So,
Exorcism 3.0.
Yeah, there's going to be, exactly. There's going to be some sort of big family crisis involving Eric, and I guess maybe that's what brings him back to town. And supposedly he's sticking around for a while. He did sort of say that this isn't going to be a pop in and out like he's been doing the past couple times. So he's going to be around for a little while. So yeah, nice. Go check that out. It's a really cute interview, and of course, these two have known each other for years, and yeah. So yeah. Yes, this next one is we have just a fun little, cute little, continuing our stars on their night out kind of a thing. This one is Victoria Konefeld, Sierra Weston. She chronicled her sort of night at the Grammys and on her IG, and with some really fun picture. She looks amazing in this dress. It was just sort of this IG post about being sort of really proud to be there and just had an amazing night. And she just seemed like really grateful about her position and the opportunity to go to the Grammys and get this sort of star-studded treatment. So go check that out. And she also has some clips of the performances and what she thought of them. And yeah, so go check out her IG at Victoria Konefeld. It looks amazing, as she always does. We also want to, we don't have a picture, but we also want to give a big congratulations to Lauren Bowles, who played, speaking of Sierra, who played kid / almost preteen Sierra. Yeah, during those days. And Lauren Bowles has just always been a big she's just amazing child actor and always been, I think, one of our favorites during the years as Sierra, and just sort of hit it off, and I think really struck a chord with people. And so yeah, she is all grown up now, 18 years old, graduated high school, and got accepted into Stanford University. So big congratulations to Lauren Bowles on her acceptance.
Yeah, the video of her acceptance is on her IG. I retweeted it. Check it out. It's just, there's nothing like that feeling.
Pure joy.
Yeah, good for her. Next up, we have a little recap of the Indie Series Awards. A few weeks ago, we told you about the nominations. The several people were nominated: Mike Manning, Brandon Beamer, Katie Huffman. Who else? We talked about James Lott Jr.'s show Forever and a Day. We talked about Patricia Darbo hosting, and we have some winners here for Best Comedy Series. Miss Katie Huffman for her. For her show, Katie did. She also not only won that, but also won Best Lead Actress. So big, huge congratulations.
Yeah, it was like her night.
Yeah, and also her show won in a couple other categories. I think it was sort of like either Best Supporting Actor or Best Guest Actor. Forgive me, I don't remember the actors who won, but yeah, they also won there. So yeah, like Michael said, it was a huge night for her show.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. Called Katie Did Again. And we have some personal news. Congratulations. We want to send congratulations out to Forever and a Day, especially our former co-host, Mr. James Lott Jr., friend to the show, Candy Mack, and of course, our other co-host, Mr. Tony Moore, who was an actor in the show Forever and a Day, seasons 1 and 2, I believe, 1 4. So yeah, big congratulations to those three. Yeah, nice. Yeah. And Michael, you have some details from the show.
Oh well, yeah. I don't have much to tell. I was the photographer, their house photographer for the night, and so it was 5 hours of taking photos constantly on the carpet and then during the ceremony, and didn't realize how exhausting that could be. But no, it was a fun night, and I learned about some really great new content, and it was just great to see like these people who put their heart and their soul to their projects and being recognized. And it was like their version of the Oscars. And like everybody that won was so excited to win, and they're not taking it for granted. And I personally learned about some new series that I want to watch because, I wouldn't otherwise have heard about them. So yeah, it was a fun night. And that's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see
all the winners.
It's great to see that level of support for, people don't realize just how much work goes into working your way up. And maybe you don't get that like Academy Award night that you want, but there's so many other levels in this industry. And, you realize, that the more you work and the more stuff you do and the more you broaden your horizons, people start knowing you and people start appreciating your work and really taking the time to look at if you did an audio, if you did like a game series, if you did a podcast, this is people really just putting in the work, and you could tell that they love it.
Yeah. So that was our news and gossip this week.
And before we leave you, let's take a look at a promo for next week's Days of Our Lives.
Gender reveal parties.
I have heard horror stories.
Are you thinking boy or girl?
Are you ready? I'm ready. All right.
Days, NBC weekdays.
Don't suppose you could give us a little hint?
Oh, cute.
Is anyone else scared about what's going to come out of that cake?
I was like, is that going to be blood? I was like,
yeah. I'm terrified. Yeah. I mean, in every other aspect, this is what a gender reveal, I feel a gender reveal should be. Please don't do like the massive fireworks and cannons and all kinds of like silly stuff that you're just going to get yourself hurt. Just have an excuse to eat cake.
Have a cake.
Right.
Just do a cake.
Everyone loves cake, okay? All right. And that was this week's Dishin Days. Please, one final reminder to follow us on our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to everything. Follow us on the podcasts, whatever suits your fancy. They're right there. Buy our merch at dishindays.threadless.com. Michael Mattis, where can the kind folks find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
And Justin, where can the kind folks find you?
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And you can find me, Araceli, on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli. Before we leave you, a final reminder that we will not be here next week. It is Easter Sunday. We are going to be taking a break. We'll be back the following week, and Tony Moore will, fingers crossed, hopefully be joining us in the month of May.
Oh, yeah, month of May. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, in the month of May. So those are your announcements. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Again, we'll take a look back at your comments during the show when this is posted live. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your love, and have a good Sunday.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, everybody.